Hello and welcome back to our From the Mic Stand show here on our Suckers. We've seen a brilliant set from June Holland. We all really enjoyed it. Now we're just going to chat to her a bit about her music and what she's been up to lately. So June, for those people who haven't heard of you before, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and your music?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on, by the way. My name is June Holland, and I've been singing for as long as I can remember, really. But I have only more recently decided to go full time, become an independent musician. At the end of last year, I decided to quit my 9 to 5 and go full throttle with the music. So
Right.
I've been recording, I've learned myself at home to record and produce my own tracks so that I could start getting them out into the world.
Sure.
So I've released, I think, 9 singles in total, one being a cover and the rest originals, up to today. So yeah, just trying to get out there.
And what are some of those artists that have influenced you and inspired you over the years?
Well, when I was growing up, I listened to a lot of my dad's music because he was very keen. He's a big music fan and he played a lot in the house. He used to make mixtapes and things that I would listen to before I went to bed. But he was also a big Northern Soul fan, so we listened to a lot of soul music, and also the likes of like Stevie Wonder. He's probably like my biggest idol. And then also as I got a bit older, I got into like jazz music, so Ella Fitzgerald, Etta James, Louis Armstrong, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I've been influenced by a lot of different music because I would say I love all music, really. There's not really much that I wouldn't listen to. So I got big into like indie and rock bands as I got into my teenage years as well. So lots of different things have inspired, hopefully, what I see as like my own sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're writing and creating your own music, how do you usually go about that?
Well, all of the songs pretty much that I've released up until today have all been songs where they've just come to me. So usually I write a song when I'm like so overtaken by a kind of emotion. Like for example, What I Told My Boss, which was the last song that I did in the set. That was a day when I had a really rubbish day at work and I was really angry, and I just grabbed my guitar and sat and wrote it in about 15 minutes, and it just sort of like came out onto the page. So a lot of my music is that's how I write it. And then when it comes to the recording and the producing side of things, I've added a lot more instrumentation on, but that's just been sort of like experimenting with what I think sounds right. So yeah, when you listen to the tracks that have been released, they might be slightly different to like my acoustic versions that you've heard tonight.
You said you've only recently, over the last year, become like a musician full time. What have been some of the difficulties over this years, and what have been some of the high points?
I think the difficulties is it's a hard industry. Like you have to be constantly working at it, especially with like now we've got a lot of involvement in social media, and artists have to be on social media all the time and plugging themselves, and it's time consuming, and it can be hard. And it can also be hard when you put a lot of time and effort into a video and it goes out and you get like a few likes or a few views, but you have to just be quite resilient. I think that's a key thing about being a musician is resilience. But then equally, like some high points, I've supported some amazing people this year. I've had the opportunities to support Eddie Reader. So she was the lead singer of Fairground Attraction, but also an amazing solo artist in her own right. So I had the opportunity to support her in May. And then recently I've just supported indie legend Bernard Butler. So yeah, so I've had some great high points for my first year doing it full time as well.
What have been some of your favourite venues to perform at over the few years you've been playing?
Well, I think based on the gigs themselves, like the one where I supported Eddie Reader was at Nantwich Civic Hall, and that was just a big hall. There was a lot of people. I think there was about 300 odd people there, and that was a really cool experience and a big show for me. And then when I supported Bernard Butler, that was at Nantwich Football Club, so that was a real cool, like being in a football club as well. Again, a great show. But then some of the other venues that I've enjoyed, I played at MASH very recently, supporting Maura and the Fabulous Wonderfuls, who are an incredible band. If you get a chance to check them out, please do. So yeah, I managed to support them only a couple of months ago in MASH in Macclesfield, and that's just a cool venue. I know you've been to it yourself. It's very quirky and very cool. And then I've played at places like the Jacaranda in Liverpool, which there's got a bit of history with the Beatles. Used to use it as a rehearsal space down in the basement, which they've now turned into the music venue. So it's just been cool to go in these places, and especially when they've got a little bit of history to them, and then be on that stage. So yeah.
So if people want to catch you live, where's the next place they can see you?
So if you happen to be in the northeast, I'm actually heading up to Gateshead this weekend for United in Music Festival, which is predominantly acoustic music across Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday the 7th of December and Sunday the 8th of December. I'm going to be playing on Saturday the 7th around 4:45, and it's just going to be a great weekend of live music. But then I've got, if you're like more local to here, I'm in Manchester on the 12th of December. I'm going to be playing at a Women's in Music showcase that's organised by Outer City. And that's going to be, it's actually myself and then a lady called Mel Rayburn and another lady called Olivia Diafaria, who we're all playing on the same bill, and that should be a festive, fun night. So that's in Manchester. And then if you're really local and you're in Macclesfield, I'm actually going to be supporting, as I mentioned in the live before, I'm going to be supporting the incredible local legend Joel Gardner at the Button Warehouse, and that's on the 19th of December. So yeah, I've got some stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks, and I'm excited.
That's great. And you've had a couple of singles out fairly recently. Just want to tell us a bit about those ones?
Yeah, well, my latest release was Summer Autumn Phenomenon, which is the song that I did first. And yeah, I think that was, I had to be very strict on when I released it because it's obviously very seasonal. So I actually had prepared some of that song's music video almost like 2 or 3 years in advance, because at the time I was like, I'm going to do it this autumn, and then things got in the way. And then it came to the following autumn and I was releasing something else, so I had to make sure I got it in this autumn time. But yeah, it's gone really well, and I think people have been really lovely with their comments on the song, so hopefully people enjoy it.
And to create the video, did you work with someone to create it, or is it homebrew? Or
it was just home. I just got my iPhone and went off filming, and like if you get a chance to watch it, it's on YouTube. It's all very autumnal with like pumpkin patch. In fact, I filmed it in Marbury Park and Delamere Farm pumpkin patch, so very local. But yeah, it was good fun doing that. It's the first proper music video that I've filmed. So.
And I suppose we're getting towards the end of the year. Do you have any big plans for next year?
I want to do a slightly bigger body of work next year. I have been releasing single after single, and it tends to be the trend at the moment with like modern day music that people release single after single. But I've done like 9 singles now, so I feel like it's time for an EP. So I'm not like giving any dates or anything away just yet, because I need to work on it. I had applied for a grant and I didn't get it, but I'm going to find ways to make it happen still, because I'm really keen to get an EP out there, and hopefully something physical that I can get printed and have at my shows. So yeah.
And just want to remind people where they can find you and your stuff and listen to your music.
Yeah, of course. So my name is June, like the month, Holland, like the country. If you want to find me, I'm on all the different social media platforms, YouTube, and then all my music's on like Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming sites. And if you want to head to my link tree, which is just June Holland Music, then there's links to everything on there. You can watch live performance videos, all sorts.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I really enjoyed it tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.